Well, a lot of people, myself included, expected this to be a close, exciting game, and it did not disappoint. Thank God the college football playoff finally gave us a good playoff game. This was the 12th college football playoff game that we've had, and only the third that's been within 10 points or less. Clemson winning the game here. Hats off to all the Clemson fans. What an amazing game. It's hard to really get on and clown Ohio State like I normally like to do when a team loses. But you can't make mistakes at the end of the game like that. I don't know whose fault that was. Whether it was, I don't know if it looked like the receiver broke his route off and tried to go to the outside instead. I don't know whose fault it was, but you can't have mistakes like that at the end of the game. And if you really want to know what cost Ohio State this game, it was really only a couple of things. The first quarter and the second quarter, Ohio State kept driving right down the field, but settling for field goals. You cannot beat good teams settling for field goals like that. You've got to score touchdowns. They scored 4 times in the first half, but only 1 touchdown. 3 field goals and a touchdown, and you just can't do that. It comes back to bite you way too many times, and it came back to bite Ohio State here. And then the penalties for Ohio State were just mind-boggling. If you're an Ohio State fan, the penalties in this game have to just be driving you up the wall right now. 2 touchdowns that Clemson had were direct results of Ohio State penalties that extended drives and gave Ohio State first downs. I mean, the first scoring drive that the Taters had, there were 2 15-yard penalties in a 3-play period. There was a roughing the passer with targeting that got a player ejected, and then 2 plays later, there was a pass interference that was 33 yards you gave Clemson instead of getting off the field, and then Clemson goes ahead and scores. And then you had to roughing the punter in the second half where you had Clemson pinned inside their 10-yard line. You would have got the ball at midfield at the worst with great field position. You roughed the punter, give them a free first down. They go down and score again. So that's 14 points you gave Clemson off of penalties. That and all the field goals you kicked in the first half instead of scoring touchdowns like you're supposed to. You're not going to beat good teams doing that. You're just not. 2 amazing teams, 2 really good teams here. Like I said, I love to get on here and laugh when the teams lose. It's hard to laugh at Ohio State right now. Just a great game. Let's be real. This is why we're college football fans. Games like this, a back and forth game, 2 great offenses, 2 great defenses, 2 great coaching staffs, 2 great quarterbacks. Clearly, Trevor Lawrence outplayed Justin Fields in this game. The reason at this point is irrelevant. Maybe he's just better. I do think Fields' knee situation did impact this game. Whether it costs, whether it would have been a different outcome, who knows? And that doesn't really matter at this point. But if you've watched Ohio State play any this year, and I have, there were clearly way less designed runs for Justin Fields called in this game. They were doing what they could to protect his knee. He did take off and scramble a couple of times. I'm sure that hurt him a little. Who would have known going into this game that Trevor Lawrence would actually be the quarterback that showed out with his legs? A 67-yard touchdown run in this game from Trevor Lawrence. And I talk a lot about how Trevor Lawrence, I think, doesn't get enough credit for his legs. He's clearly a pocket passer, 6'6", prototypical pro-style pocket passer. But he can move too. It doesn't always look like he's moving fast because he's so tall. He's 6'6", but you got to keep in mind every step he takes when he's running is about 4 yards. So 67-yard touchdown run, which is amazing. My buddy Jack Fromm had 35 yards rushing for the entire season. So just to give you sort of an idea of what it means or what it can mean to have a quarterback who's capable of escaping pressure, scrambling, extending plays. And, how about that Tim Tebow jump pass that Trevor Lawrence threw? They ended up being the game-winning touchdown here. This is one of those games, unless you're a Clemson fan, I think this is one of those games you hate to see either one of these teams lose. I don't know, maybe it's because so many of these playoff games just end up being blowouts. Like I said, this is the 12th playoff game, but only the 3rd playoff game that's been a single-digit outcome. So, I don't know, maybe I'm just so excited to finally see a good playoff game, but hats off to both teams, but especially Clemson, survive and advance. You'll take on LSU here in a couple of weeks. That game is what, January 13th, I think. Shoot, that's over 2 weeks away. Yeah, 16 days from now. That's too much time. That's a long time. That should be a good game too. I don't know. We'll see. LSU looks unbeatable right now, especially on offense. And if their defense continues to play at a high level, it's going to be hard to pick against LSU in that game. All season long, I have thought LSU was the third best team behind Ohio State and Clemson because of the defensive issues LSU was having. But you got to give credit where credit is due. The last 3 or 4 weeks, it looks as though LSU's defense is playing much better than it was the first 7, 8, 9 weeks of the season. But, man, what a great game. A shame for Justin Fields. 2 turnovers in this game for Justin Fields. Again, the second one, the one that ended the game, I don't know. He had Dobbins open in the flat. Maybe you check it down there. Maybe you take off running, just pick up what you can there. It looked like maybe the receiver would have been open had he ran the in route, but and again, I don't know. He took a step like he was going to take the in route, but then he planted his foot in the ground, broke the route off, and broke to the outside. Fields had already thrown the ball over the middle, though, so I don't know. Point is, somebody screwed up, and you just can't do that in these types of games, especially. I mean, obvious, stating the obvious here, but especially in those critical situations. But man, we live streamed the game over on the Patreon page, and I just kept saying over and over again, what an amazing game. I love college football. God. And I know y'all do too. That's why you watch this channel. So again, congratulations to Clemson and all their fans. You guys are in the national title game again. 15-0 last year. Currently sitting at 14-0 right now, just on an unbelievable run. And we got a couple of weeks now to talk about this LSU-Clemson game. But shout out to Ohio State, too, and Oklahoma. You guys made it further than anyone else did. So, you know, shout out to all the playoff teams. Only 2 can win, 2 have to lose. But, man, you hate to see anybody have to lose this game. They just showing that last interception again. From Fields' reaction, I don't know. I don't want to blame the wide receiver. I don't know whose fault it was. It could have been Fields' fault for all I know. What a game. Clemson gets the ball back with 2 minutes to go. They go right down the field and score. Ohio State gets the ball back with about a minute to go. They go right down the field. They're sitting on about like a 25 or 30-yard line, and they throw to I'm just rambling and repeating myself now. What an amazing, amazing game. God bless college football. What a season, and we still got one more. Well, we got a lot more games to go. We still got the national title game in a couple of weeks. We got all the New Year's Eve bowls, the New Year's Day bowls, the Tennessee Bowl versus Indiana. Voltards. I sure do wish General Voltar would come back and talk to us, don't y'all? Man. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll see General Voltar before that Tennessee-Indiana bowl game. All right, big shout out to Oklahoma, LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson, and all their fans. You guys were the last 4 remaining. Y'all were the best 4 teams of college football this year. 2 teams had to lose. Today, that was Oklahoma and Ohio State. Congratulations to Clemson and LSU. Good luck in the national title game. And man, college football is the greatest sport on earth, ain't it? Have a good morning.